For being with us during the special presentation, things like that. We can look back on our history and learn to appreciate it a little bit more. So thank you for being here. We'll continue with the discussion and adoption of the agenda. I believe you have the agenda in front of you. Have a motion to approve the agenda as printed. Is there a second? Second, any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. You also have in front of you the minutes. And I entertain a motion to amend, correct, or exclude.
They're all 5, 6 minutes.
I do have a clarification on May 8th. About the last sentence in the question to department leaders in the secretary. We were talking about building permit.
Okay.
Just a clarification. As long as work continues to be inspected within the year of last inspection.
Okay.
That's what it's for the term, so we can clarify that.
Thank you.
Any others? If there are no others, I entertain a motion to approve as amended. Motion to approve as amended. Is there a second? There's a second. Any further discussion?
Is it all 5? Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show the minutes have been approved as amended. Now we have the public hearing. And the purpose of the public hearing is to receive public comment, either written or oral, on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2013-2014. If you have any written comments, you can give those to County Manager Ms. Andrews. If you have any oral comments, you're welcome to do so at this time. If you will do as we normally do in public comment, raise your hand. Once you're recognized, please stand. State your name, where you live, and your comments that you would like to make. As it is in public comment time, it does not necessitate any comments from council members unless they so desire. They are welcome to do so if they want. So at this time, we have the public hearing, and anyone who wants to be heard, would you raise your hand? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Gail Clayton, thank you. I'm here to protest the proposed budget for the following reasons. If you ask the average person in town whether they would like an effective 8% increase in their taxes or a reduction in festivals or revitalization organizations, it would be a clear choice. You, as the leadership of this town, have put together a budget without a complete fiscal picture. You haven't really considered the average citizen who is already struggling to make ends meet. Your town staff proposed an illegal recycling fee in order to maintain the status quo. However, the status quo is not looking so good for Rutherfordton. How can an internal loan lie dormant for 10 years without being addressed? Where are the fiscal checks and balances? Errors occur in financial reporting, are missed by the auditing firm, and our mayor is quoted as being satisfied with the auditors. This is sloppy management of tax dollars. How can RTR owe $46,000 and no resolution to that loan be presented? How is it that the town funds RTR and no accounting for that money is made available? Why not liberate the funds from RTR and let them stand on their own? If their organization is successful, it should be self-sustaining. As elected officials, I think it's your responsibility to direct the town manager and focus on creating a professional town management development. There is a master plan. Do the right thing, reject this budget, and move this town forward instead of backwards.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes.
This is a technical question.
Just state
Just
your name, state your name.
On the memo that was received by the town manager directing, council to propose two types of budgets, one for the governmental budgeting and one for the full accrual. If you look at the actual column in your sewer, that's the one I'm looking at, it was said that we had losses last year. So the number that is in your budget, actual numbers, should tie into not only the budget worksheet, but also your financial statements and your reports that's going to, law. My question is, before you pass this budget, I think you need to have a consolidated answers that give the losses and our profits from using the worksheets that you're making decisions on.
Any other public comment? And this is the hearing, public hearing on the fiscal year budget. Any other comments? Hearing none, I close the public hearing on the fiscal year proposed budget fiscal year 2013, 2014. Thank you. Questions for department leaders? Everyone is safe and healthy. I want to take this opportunity to recognize Mr. Donald Hutchins, who has worked with the town as our zoning and code enforcement officer since November the 30th, 1998. Don will be retiring from the town as of June 30th. Is that correct, Don? Yes. Are you sure? Okay. I know on behalf of council, and they're working to say that is right. Thank you for your work that you have done for our town in many areas that you have performed. You, as many that we have working for this town, are one of those people that we can depend on to be there when we need them. And so we certainly do appreciate what you have done for us in many areas that you have helped us. And we thank you, and I know you look forward to retirement and we'll get maybe scheduled control of that. So thank you, Don. We appreciate your service.
Can I say something?
Yes, you can.
I just like to thank everybody, the council, and mayor, and mayor's past, and council members past. Almost 15 years, I've enjoyed it. It's been a challenge sometimes, but working with Karen, she's the only town manager I've worked for, so I appreciate her and the department heads, Kevin, Tommy, Keith. Just been all great to work with in the employees in the town. You've got some good employees, and need to appreciate them. But then I've enjoyed working with Cindy. I've helped the RTR some, a little bit. So, and I'm going to stay on as a volunteer fireman, and might see me around some of the festivals. So if you do, don't say what's he doing there. I won't be part of it. But I've enjoyed it.
Doug said see him after the meeting. Any other department leader questions or any comments from council?
Mayor, we have the one budget amendment that we'd like to go back.
Yes, sir, I will.
We've been to a request for doing $1,500 from fund balance available for appropriation to the library book fund. We have a council member
to, David, I'm correct, this is the correct procedure to make that profit. That's taking action from this council. I'll entertain a motion to honor that budget request. Is there a second? Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it's 3 yes, and one abstain. Thank you. We'll take care of it. Anything else as far as department business?
The list that you have for the high grass and those kind of things, is this about normal for this time of year?
It's more, just with the amount of rain, the people's not being able to, cut their grass in the regular scheduled week, so they get behind. And then we got some foreclosures, more so than last year, so really everything's, it's up more this year than the years past.
And what's the procedure after the second notice?
The town will cut the grass, it's in the red book, and then send the bill with a, I think it's 5 or 10% administration fee based on the cost.
Karen, if we can, in brief time working on it, if we can get a list of any of those foreclosed properties, we can tell who owns those properties, from bank or financial institution. If it is someone local, if you'll let me know who that is, I'll call them.
I worked with Pat, and we tried to find those, and it's
difficult, I know.
it is.
If there's any way I can get involved on those, I'll do that. Just you and I can work on that. And see if I can get it. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports.
I'll just go ahead and start up in there. A couple of different reports, but one being from the Rutherfordton Heritage Advisory Committee. Everyone's working with the excess fund from the 225th anniversary. And in our meeting here recently, it come up that the tourism, Rutherford County Tourism, has requested some signs that we aren't using, some frames. Everyone probably knows the Main Street Park, those frame signs are in the park that 225 put up with the historical content and whatnot. We have 2 extra signs in stores that aren't being used. And we're considering using them, but we didn't have a direct specific purpose for them at the moment. And tourism needs them and would like to have them soon so that they can put content in them in the Lake Lure area. So we voted and agreed to sell them to them for $600 and from our committee. And I think action has to be taken from council to approve that. But our committee unanimously decided to sell to them for their use, and that we would use the money for signage, designated for signage in the future through our committee. But we don't have a specific project for it yet. Whatever the next step is for that.
Essentially, that's going to be a recommendation from the committee for council action on this project. Somebody would need to make a motion to sell those.
And if I'm not mistaken, this was generated from whenever we tried to put together to start with. It was just 2 extra ones were made, more than what was legal order. And the 2 are there still, and they're excess from them.
They're excess, they're not being used, and we didn't have a specific purpose for them at the moment. So
And you're selling for what the cost was.
The exact cost that was paid for them is what they're being sold for. They'll go into the Heritage General Fund, you know, for the designated project in our,
And
Make a motion to approve the salary to
there's a motion on the floor, we accept the recommendations in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Let the record show it is unanimous. Yes.
all right, thank you. And just to follow up on other things with that committee as well, one of the main projects we're moving forward with is the walking tour. We have the brochure now of the different spots in town, and we're working towards making permanent historical markers to go in front of those locations, and also working with Rutherfordton Outdoor Coalition. They are in the process of making an app, so they'll have an audio guided tour on your phone for those tech-savvy people who come to town. And we are also working with STEP on this project as well, and presenting one of our projects that they may help fund that project as well. And everything's looking pretty positive on that moving forward. The other projects still in the works with that committee were the display case for the gold coins, one of the gold coins we have in the Becker House, and we're working on other projects as well. That's the process at the moment. We've been meeting regularly. I think the third Monday is set related. Moving along with that. That's pretty much the basis for that committee. 4th of July, as far as the RPR, everything is moving right along, and we have more teams. We had last year 45 new teams will be in the Boxcar Derby. Should be some interesting creative designs that have been out there. I think some of you've seen some of them. The Marine Corps, you know, with some interesting ones. Facebook's a new team in there, and new business, potential new business in town to be a part of it, but that's looking real positive. Everything is fairly going to plan. We are not requesting any funds from the town. Between our gathered sponsorships and commitments and coin sales that have been committed, everything looks okay on that end, and as well as our commitment to the town for the labor difference. So there will be no monetary action that we're requesting. Which is really happy. And that's the basis. Yeah, lots of work going on before the clock. So everybody come out and support that. Walking parade will kick off at 1 o'clock. Race starts at 2, and then there'll be bands and kid activities on the lawn, sack races, watermelon contests, a number of different from kids area, vendors, food vendors, and just open to any vendor, craft vendors, and whatnot. So everyone comes out who's in town and ended up with fireworks and music. And then
Doug, is Clark in charge of the weather?
Clark is, we just made that a chamber, so it goes bad as a chamber.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One off.
Any questions concerning those events that Doug was talking about? Any other committees? Yes, ma'am.
I'll talk about, we've got our STEP meeting will be on Monday, the 24th, and you've divided into 3 committees. We have marketing, business, entrepreneurship, and then tourism. And the projects will be presented on Monday, so we'd love for town council to come and hear the projects. So when we come as a group to present them to town council, you will not be surprised on what they've chosen. But we are also working with the Main Street program on a marketing study for the downtown. We've been asked to participate and RTR voted to participate in that study, which we will also work with staff on marketing the downtown and the impact of money put into downtown. And we think it's a very viable project. I'm looking forward to working on it starting in, I think that's January. It'll start July the 1st of this year and run through January. And we'll have a marketing person coming to town and getting information, and we'll be providing them information and working with them.
As Cindy mentioned, I encourage any and all council members if possible to be part of the STEP meetings, because now we're getting into projects, and eventually, probably maybe the next council meeting, a presentation will be made to council for approval of some of those projects. And it would be good to know in advance what we're talking about prior to coming here and asking approval. So especially coming Monday night, it's going to be hearing from all those three committees on projects. And I'll tell them there that we've really been working hard, and we've been doing a good job. So if you're able to be there, I encourage you to be there and start hearing about this project prior to the Sunday. Anything else?
We've also had, I've been working with several realtors on some buildings available downtown, and we've had, rumor has it was open in Wine Bar, and we've also had a new restaurant open. So, Hibachi Grill and, Kitchen. So, you guys need to go out and support our local business.
Especially those new people, I encourage you to go by and at least walk in their town and be a part of what's going on. Anything else?
We did have our first shop and play. Had some kids come into the downtown business, some activities, and we are working on marketing that. Be the third Saturday. But come out and support downtown merchants.
Well, we'll hear a little bit more about it later, but it's a good relationship to have with kids and be a part of that and have a finance what's going on there. Any other committees?
Mayor, I'd like to report on Tourism Asset Foundation that TVA, after they presented earlier this year to the council about their plans to begin this, they have a board that has anywhere from 5 to 7 members, has a couple of staff members from TVA itself. The group has met about 3 times. The topic of discussion has been inquiring as to possible members for the board, deciding how to structure the organization, development of the bylaws for the organization, the articles of incorporation, terms of office, possible logos to be used, and those kinds of things. So it's in its infancy. So those things are currently being discussed.
And you might, say that something you found out the other day about the new addition to the Festival House. The piano.
Yes, we found out that the back of the piano has been donated to the house. It's a very large square type piano. We found that out through that. So that's nice. More than the family.
Yes, it will.
I think they are already there already.
140 years old?
So that's a good addition for us. Any other committee? Tanya, I know you had your committee met here recently. Would you want to make some comments?
Well, the Recreation, Parks and Recreation Committee did meet. We didn't have a forum, so we're working on a lot of things. We're trying to be active. We're trying to come up with some good recommendations. That's all I have to report.
Okay. Thank you. Any other committees? Hearing Hearing none, we'll move on to unfinished business. Number one is formation of a town committee for oversight of annual Veterans Day event. Pam, did you want to leave comment about that?
Very good. I just want to bring up to speed, we had a meeting of the group that run the show last year, and they went over this proposal, and understand it and accept it, and we came up with 2 non-residents to add to the list of 3 residents, and we just got a list with 5 names on it. Those people are all willing to serve in position.
We don't have, only names on it are Dan, it was Bob Jones.
Yeah, but that was, in articles now.
But there are 5 names. Do you want me to mention them?
If you would mention his name, we can write them down.
Okay. David Covington would be number 3, resident. Del Ligon, D-E-L-L-I-G-O-N. He was last year's commandant of the reported. And David General? Farwell.
What was the last name?
Farwell, F-A-R-W-E-L-L. And we need to play board, and he thinks he'd love to do it, I don't think online is anyway, he's close, and that's one of the non-resident positions. The point was that we had people willing to staff with us to play big council, and we haven't met and discussed it with the group. Any other questions for us?
We have in mind that the recommendation of the general charge. I would submit that for consideration, and it's council for consideration forming the committee.
With those names.
With those names.
Is that a form of motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? The only comment I would have is whenever you meet, I would encourage you, if you haven't already, come up with a chairperson. And in the future, whenever it comes time to pay bills, that chairperson be the one that signs off on bills. So whenever it comes into our town, we don't get lost. They only be approved if the chairperson signs off on it. That's just my recommendation. You may have different, but you gotta have some.
I'll work with us to, the chairman will work with us to.
You have to have some way of keeping track of it.
It's the intent of this committee to set standards, but there is a recognition like we do this with the rules, it's times, like ordering something we need to do, ordering it in the council, and I think it was $3,500, what we estimated the amount, but they will be need to be submitted to the phone, expenditure phone, to be followed, if we have a chance to look at it.
Well, any of those requests would come to the council.
That's right. That's mine, that's the way I perceive it.
Any other comments or discussion?
I may be, again, the lone person who, has a little bit of issue with this. I am absolutely for the veterans, and I am absolutely for this event. When it was suggested that the town, form a committee about this, I felt some discomfort with that, because I was very comfortable with the veterans groups, under Dan's leadership, keeping that event and being part of that, because that truly is their event. And the town in general, supporting the location, supporting street closures and things like that. But the town taking charge of the committee or being responsible for it, and having the committee raise funds and the town have oversight in the spending of those funds also causes me discomfort, because again, this is the veterans' event. And I believe they should have charge of their event. If they're raising the money for their event, they should be deciding how to spend it. Council taking over that type of a decision, although I understand is legal, to me seems a little improper to do. So I personally would like to see the veterans continue to be in charge of their event, rather than the town form a committee on that. And that, again, my personal opinion, and I would vote.
Any other comments? Discussion? There's a motion on the floor in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, let the record show it's 3, 4, and 1 against. Thank you. Moving on to new business, discussion and possible adoption of fiscal year 2013-14 general fund budget and sewer enterprise budget. Thank you.